As some of you may know, of late I've been going through some of these mics, doing just short covers. And I'm hoping, after each three, to talk about the mics I used when I do three. I'll go back whilst it's still reasonably fresh in my mind. I've left this one a bit long, actually. So let me just tell you what we have the Neumann KMS 105, the V90r ribbon from Beyerdynamic, and this is the V7X with the V7 head on, instrumental mic with the V7 head to protect against pops and so on. So what I remember from doing them, I remember being a little disappointed with the KMS 105 when I was doing it in the headphones and when I was editing the video later. Can't remember the song, you can find it. Actually, I've got clips of them here. Don't know why. It's difficult for me to say why. But just because it's a mic I like, apart from the low end, I've talked about it and so on. And I don't know. It's been better on speaking on my voice somehow or other. I was pleasantly surprised by the Beyerdynamic ribbon, V90r. I'll say why later. And I enjoyed this, the V7X, particularly for the song I chose. Some people said, a friend of mine said, oh, you should do the same song all the way through, but please. So a little bit of matching maybe towards the song. So if I was using a dynamic, I might not use a very airy song or song where I use that in my singing. So what I'm going to do is just go through them just as they are. They're kind of roughly lined up. It's not really about that. Just to remind ourselves and see if I can remind myself what I felt at the time. This is the Icon Pro, which I'm getting rid of. This is as soon as I did that, this is the Neumann KMS 105. Yeah, so I think what I felt with what I was doing is there's a which is a bit high for my voice, muddies the waters a bit, and yes, there's that something on top, and there seems to be something a little bit missing in the middle. And I didn't find it, even though I got very good reports when using it with a big band from the big band leader. This was years ago, shortly after I got it. He said, wow, really clear. So there you go. But it was a little bit disappointing. I thought, yeah, there's not much in there for me somehow or other. You can hear the hiss on the Beyerdynamic ribbon mic because it's a low output, but immediately it has, to me, right, it's for a ribbon, it's quite bright at the top. Heaven knows why, because they're meant to be dull at the top. I could do with less, but I thought it worked very well on the when I used it. I can tell now. The bass, it's got the bass as well. Bit old school, isn't it? But it's not. But it's fast. So I think the ribbon came out it was very enjoyable to use. Let me put it that way and bring it a bit closer now. I found the ribbon very enjoyable to use. Let me bring it a bit closer still. Very enjoyable to use. It's getting a bit much, isn't it? Let me take it away. Onto the V7X. Onto the V7X. Yes, there's that brooding low end, so I can keep it a little bit further. If I bring it in, you can tell that could get too much. And it's a dynamic, so you can tell that low end is a little bit old school, as I think it's bound to be. Old school, old school, old school. It's gentle at the top there. So again, very controllable with this, and I thought it worked well with the song I used it on. Still got to be a little bit careful with the breath, because it is an instrument mic, and even with this additional slightly thicker foam, if you really wanted to do it, you could sort it out, I'm sure, with foam in there somehow or other. Might have to buy a few different types. It's not very expensive, and just sort of fine-tune it, really. So listening to this, yeah, kind of neutral and flat, reminds me a bit of the M88. Yeah, 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 yeah. Let's just go through them. Can you tolerate it? Because I'm in the mood now. I've started doing that. I'm going to put a bit of delay or something on. Well, I've got a little bit of something, yeah. That area there, it's well represented. It's where it pushes a little, and my voice pushes a little there. So let's just do that, and then I'll listen to the actual recordings. I'll make comments about that. So I've got yeah, 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 yeah. So what I've got there, I've got those harmonics which I'm pushing at the top there, and the fundamental underneath, and not much in between maybe. So that's what I'm doing. Yeah, 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 yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Back. Yeah, yeah. So it's different, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. If I really accentuate that, that's where the V7X likes it. Yeah, yeah. The ribbon's a bit more expansive either side, I feel. Not quite so targeted there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's the Neumann. Yeah, yeah. The bit is a little bit softened, I feel, to me, and I can sense again that trying to push its way through because that proximity is a bit high for my voice. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay, I think that's enough of that. What I'm going to do now, I've done some preparation, you'll be pleased to know, some clips from using them for the covers that I did. The initial clips are at the beginning, when I'm reasonably quiet, reasonably soft, and I've tried to find some later where maybe I'm a bit louder. I didn't get very loud in all of the songs, but just to give a bit of a comparison.
Thinking back in time, when love was only in my mind, I realized ain't no second chance. You gotta hold on to romance, don't let it slide.
So I found the Neumann KMS, it's okay for me, but it seemed to be, as I said in the beginning with it, mascara. I'm not a mascara man. It's a good mic. But I just found, a little bit somehow. Let's go on to the next one.
Do nothing till you hear from me. Pay no attention to what's said. Why people tear the seam of anyone's dream is over my head, yes it is.
I thought the ribbon mic gave a very good representation, and I did the yes it is. Yes it is. It's got what I like, I like reverb as well, but not when I'm speaking, which is transient response to speed. I thought the ribbon worked really well, very nicely balanced, a little bit old school. Somebody once said about it, a character mic. I wouldn't push it quite that far, actually, just very nice. So left now to the SE.
Rock me, baby, rock me all night long. Rock me, baby, like my back ain't got no bone.
One of those says, I like the weight of the low ends, because of course I'm doing that. Like my back ain't got no bone. So it's a kind of song that suits that. And I found the part up there. Yeah, it's not as detailed as the ribbon or the earthworks, but it does a pretty good job, I think, for a sub 100 pound dynamic. You can tell it's a little bit smoothed, that kind of area there, but I think it does it very nicely. Going on then to slightly louder examples.
The nights can be cold, and there's a chill to every evening when you're all alone. Don't talk anymore.
With the Neumann, then the mascara. The nights can be cold. Yeah, again, not for me. It's a little bit too much there. Seeing as I'm slightly higher in my voice there, the low end boom stuff doesn't really apply, so I handled that well. Ribbon.
You never will do nothing till you hear from me. You never will.
I enjoyed it again. I enjoyed using it when I did it. Again, I think it does it. Of course, it's got that. I think its accentuation is a bit higher than the Neumann's. There's something about it, even though it's got it, it seems to me not so sweet, not quite so girly, somehow. The SE Electronics.
Rock me, baby, rock me slow. Rock me, baby, rock me slow.
Well, I think it handled that well. With all that stuff up there, you don't want to hear. You don't need it. A little bit of that smoothing, a little bit of that dynamic stuff works well. Didn't hear much of the lower end because I wasn't down there, but we know it's got it. There we go then. Yeah, just my experience of it. There's a fly and I've got the door open. Just my experience. I was personally a little bit disappointed by this, but then I know it doesn't really suit me. But I was more disappointed, perhaps. Well, I didn't expect to be disappointed. It's okay, I've used it several times, and I've done the speaking review of it. I thought, yeah, it's not particularly for me, but I didn't expect to be a little bit disappointed with it, a little bit uninteresting. I found it on my voice. This one, even though I've used this a lot, this one was like, for singing. Even though I've used it live a fair bit, and I've done the review of it, of course. This, I haven't used live. Might be able to fairly soon, so we'll see. But, as I've said, nice, even, great. Under 100 quid, watch the pops, and you might, with the instrument version, and we'll see what the vocal version does. There we go, it was longer than I had hoped. But you can always skip, can't you? So, once again, I hope it's some use for you. I think it's interesting to see that for me anyway, that it's different when I'm doing them for this singing recording than for when I've noticed that a lot, than for when I've been reviewing them and speaking and even doing bits of singing here, when I'm actually singing a song, such as they are, that it's slightly different. Just to make things even more complex. Hey, adios, Bisenia.